Okay, let's get right to it. So in this Google question, we'll take a look at this simple table here, but what we ultimately want to do is find the total number of occurrences of the word bull and bear in this table. So we're interested in this contents column. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the contents column from this Google file store table, but we're not actually interested in the contents column. What we want to do is find a way to get some information about, how many times this word came up, bull and bear. So what we can do just for starters is apply this very special function called text search vector. So if I run to text search vector and pass in my contents column and run this, we get some very interesting output. And what you're noticing here is that we get the word as well as this number associated with it. So I'll just comment this out, and I'm actually going to run the query above this just to see what's going on. So what you're noticing here is that at word number 5 in this first row, the word a shows up. At word number 6, we get bull. At word number 3, we get exchange, and so on. So this is what TS vector does. It gives you the word itself, and it gives you the position that it came up. Now, the immediate question becomes, well, what happens if a word came up more than one time? Well, in this case, you'll see that the word like market, for example, comes up twice in the second row. So what you're noticing in this case is that market gets 7 and 32. So with this, we can ultimately determine that, okay, well, it comes up once here and then, another 2 times in here, and it probably comes up in here again. So how many times does it come up overall in our data set? But we're actually interested in just bull and bear. Now, to get some sort of idea of the total number of occurrences, we use this TS vector idea, but we ultimately pass it into another function called TSStat. And what TSStat does, first and foremost, is returns a set of records. So it's not like we're returning an integer or a string or a boolean. We're actually returning rows of data. So what I'm just going to do here is I'm just going to say select everything from whatever this function returns. Okay. Now, inside this function, we passed in an SQL query, and this query actually gets passed in as text. So we put it in quotes, which is a little bit weird, but that's just the way this function operates. And once you put in this SQL query, as well as some optional arguments that we're not going to touch, we get the set of records, and the columns that we get back are word, which is the actual just word itself, so bull, bear, market, etc. We also get this ndoc column, which is the number of documents the word showed up in, so maybe market showed up in all 3 of them, and an entry is the total number of occurrences. So this accounts for the cases where, a word can show up in a document 0 times or more than 1 time. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually select all from whatever this function returns. And we saw that from before, we pass in an SQL query stored as a string. So I'm going to copy and paste, store this as a string, and see what the output is of this function. Okay. And here, just like we expected, we get the word itself, the number of times, the number of documents it occurred in, and the number of total occurrences. And all that we want is to get the word itself and the total number of occurrences. So we can select the word and the n entry, and we actually just want to filter bull and bear. So we can say where word, and let's actually use like. So we don't, we actually want to search like lowercase bull, or word like. Let's go bear. Like that. So once we run this, we see that we get the word bull showing up 3 times overall and the word bear showing up twice. And if I just delete the original query and check it formally, we pass the test. So that looks good. And so that's it. You use this TS vector to get an understanding of where your words show up and if they show up more than once. And then you apply TSStat to get exactly your statistics. In this case, we're looking at just the number of times the word bull and bear showed up. All right, thanks for watching.